Hi, this week we're having Richard Chesworth and Kathy visit with us about doing a full text search, a experimental beta test that they're doing on Family Search, how we can research our ancestors a little bit better. So, Richard, take it away.
Okay, so some or most of you are already familiar with searching historical records on Family Search. And so these would include births, marriages, deaths, census records. And, Family Search has over 5 billion records. And this search, you can search very detailed. So you can say the individual's name, their spouse, father, mother, birth date, marriage date, and you can do that because people have gone in and extracted the information out that says, hey, this is a marriage record, this is the date and place, and these are the people who got married. So you're probably familiar with that. Well, full text is a little different. So what full text is not indexed by humans, but it's the computer reading the information off the images and taking all of the information. And so you don't have the specificity. You don't get to say, hey, this is the primary person in the event, or this is the marriage date, or any of that. But you do get to search on all of the text that's on the image. Uh, Now, because this is done by computer and it's still, there's still mistakes. And so don't be surprised when, the computer gets it wrong. So it's just more of setting our expectations. It's not going to be as precise or as accurate as if a human did it, but it allows us to get all the information from these images and make them searchable much sooner. As I said, Family Search has about 5 billion records, and with full text, it was announced last year at RootsTech, and so far they've loaded over 1.3 billion. That's B with a billion records so far. So in 1 year, they've gotten like 20% of what it's taken like 15 years to do with the other records. So it really does unlock these records and make them available much sooner than if people were to go in and index them. Um, if you have questions, because I'm sure I'm probably going to go a little too fast, you can save them after, or Kathy can help with that. So the way to turn it on, because as Angela said, it is still experimental. There's a off family search. You can just type in familysearch.org/labs and it will redirect. It says EN, but you can just type in familysearch.org/labs and you'll get a list of these different experiments that are available of new features and things that Family Search is trying out. So the one for full text is this one over here. And I already have it turned on, but normally it'll say try it. So all you have to do is press the button for try it, and then you'll go ahead and be redirected to the experiment. You'll be taken to this landing page, and the one that you're probably going to use the most is keyword searching. It does try and extract out information on names to identify the names, but it doesn't say any relationships. It doesn't say, oh, this is the spouse of this other person. And then it also does allow you to search where the record took place and kind of the year range. Image group number, if you're old enough to remember microfilm and the catalog and searching by DGS, this allows you to search by a film number. If you have questions, I can talk about that later. Okay, so the other thing that's probably of interest is these search tips. So you can just come down here and look for and say, well, if I want to search on a phrase, you just put it in quotes. And if you say, hey, well, I absolutely want the documents that are returned to have this phrase in it or this name, put a plus in front. If you say, well, I don't want, I want all the chess words, but I don't want any with John, so you can put a minus in front. And then it also allows wildcards where a question mark is a single character and the asterisk replaces multiple characters. So I'm just going to go ahead and do a search, and I'm going to say Let's just search for John Chesworth. And I'm also going to say I want documents that also have Anna Shannon in it. Now, the plus is saying it has to have John Chesworth. I didn't put a plus here, so it's nice if it has Anna Shannon, but it's not required. So we'll go ahead and do a search, and we got back 2,000 records. And it's like, that's kind of a lot. Um, Actually, I think I have an experiment turned on, which is a little unfortunate because you may not see this filter view on yours. Um, so in here, these are just filters that say, hey, I want to filter down by place. It's like, no, I'm not really interested in the Chesworths who are in Australia. I'm not as concerned about the UK. I just want to look at the ones who are in the US and California, and the ones I'm interested in are were in Los Angeles. So you will find different birth records, marriage records, but primarily a lot of what you're going to see are wills and deeds. And the nice thing about this is that it gives you access to records that maybe census or other information you wouldn't have had access to. So I'm just going to go ahead and click on one of these, and it will take me to a detail screen where it shows the original image. It'll show highlights based on what I searched on. So it's got John highlighted and the word Chesworth highlighted. And then here's a summary of what the computer thought it says on the image. And you can compare the two and say, well, does the transcript really say,
Yeah.
does the image say what the transcript, what the computer thought it said? And so you can also, on this image view, because a lot of wills and deeds cross images, you can use these back and forth arrows to, see the rest of the record. You can download the image or the image and the transcript, um, as well as the citation, and you can attach it to Family Tree. And so those are some of the features that you can do on that. Let me go back to this 1 second, though. There's one other thing that might be helpful, and it's not real noticeable, but it's called Fact View. And so you can change it, and so it's only going to say the persons, places, and years that are in that document. And so it's just a different view. The original view kind of highlights the paragraph or where the highlights occur in the document. But this view sometimes is just helpful to say, yeah, like John Sharp, or these are my people, or they're not my people. And so it's just a different view on that. Um, I think I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Kathy, and then we can take questions after that. Is that okay, Kathy? I know that was quick.
Yeah.
Fine. That's fine. That's no problem. Richard had just asked if I would share just my one personal experience using um, this interface, and I will just I'll try to be brief. So we all have many ancestors that we look for and research, but everybody has that one illustrious ancestor that there's for whom there's a lot of lore. You know, he may be a pirate, maybe a counterfeiter, he may be a loyalist, who knows? He's shipwrecked. The stories go on and on. And so it becomes more of a quest for truth, I think, than just a search for the record. And so I had been searching this one ancestor for many years, and I had many documents that he was in, and I had uploaded those documents to Family Search. This is a man who was born in a Huguenot community in Virginia in 1739, and he lived in and around Goochland and Chesterfield counties in Virginia. And then later in his life, he lived in different parishes in South Carolina, as part of the Charleston district back then, and he died in 1787. There are great records for him up until 1756, and then he doesn't appear in the record again until 1769 in the greater Charleston area. So that left me and others searching for him a 13-year void where he's unaccounted for. And it's during a time in his life where he would have likely been married and had children. Just to give you an idea of how much time I'd taken looking for this man and trying to fill in this void. I'd been to each of the courthouses in the different counties that he was in both South Carolina and Virginia, and to the different state archives, to different college and private library collections. Just to Charleston alone, I've been 5 times, and it's become one of my favorite destinations. But to get to the point, I had seen what I thought was every record and literally combed through unindexed digitized records for the different counties he was in and looked in border counties. And it wasn't until the church started beta testing this resource, this full text search, and specifically because it's an AI search, it wasn't until then that I was able to find this man, and he turned out to be in a county that wasn't a border county. He was several counties away in Lunenburg County, Virginia, and no previous documents had come up for him there ever. And I think because the documents he shows up on this full text search, he's not a principal. So he wouldn't have been included necessarily in the index or in other searches. There were just mentions of him in certain documents, certain deeds, mentioning his property being abutted, and he's in a few other court records, but they never came up. And so it wasn't until this AI search was made available that we were able to find him. And then from there, being able to document him being in that county, we were able to find a number of other family members that we didn't know existed. So it's really been a thing of beauty for me, and for my family, and there are lots of other researchers for this man. He has a very prolific group of descendants. So it's just been a beautiful thing. And I told Mary, I feel like I should be dropping off baked goods to Richard on a daily, because it's been such a game changer. And she said, no, don't do that. Don't drop anything off to Richard. And then Mary said, actually, Richard would like the baked goods. So it's just, if you haven't tried it, and you've reached a dead end or a brick wall with a particular ancestor, and you don't know where to find them, this is a real game changer. And I know there are only certain record groups that have been run through this. Like Richard said, there's deeds and certain court records, some wills. So and that's an ever expanding base. I suspect you'll add more to that, and that's exciting. And you also have some records from South America in this database. So it's limited right now, but the potential is phenomenal. So
Thanks so much, guys, for sharing that. We appreciate that. We'll just stop the recording and then we can keep talking. Thanks, Richard and Kathy.